Today, I'm finally running the first full version of my hanging bag algae experiment. Hey, I'm Leon, and I'm once again experimenting with microalgae. So, quick recap if you haven't seen this project before. My goal over the summer is to grow upwards of 200 liters of algae. And that means that I need to massively scale up how much algae I'm able to grow in my basement. So that's why I'm building these hanging bags. They're basically just big bags full of algae that I can use to grow lots of algae at once. Now my goal today is to start my very first run of these hanging bags, getting 10 liters of algae and 10 hanging bags all running at once. But you might have noticed that this setup looks a bit different than what I posted a couple weeks ago when I was planning for this. There is no longer a rope stretching across my window that would have all the hanging bags on it. And unfortunately, that rope, or rather the wall that was holding it up, is not strong enough to hold all these hanging bags when they're fully filled. And I do have some ideas on how I might be able to strengthen that in the future, but at least for now, I want to get this first run up and running, and if that means that they're not going to be hanging as high as I plan on them eventually being, well, that's okay with me. So I've got this metal frame here, and this metal frame has attached to it a whole bunch of hangers that are all holding hanging bags. And there are 10 hanging bags here, and what I need to do now is fill them all up with nutrients, and then fill them up with algae. So here's the hanging bag set up a little more up close. And as you can see, all 10 hanging bags are there. There's 6 on this side and 4 on this side, and you have the bubblers in the bottom to supply them with all the air they need. So to get the nutrients in, what I need to do is first take this pipette tip and stick it inside this very tiny hole I've made in the top of the bag. And then I can take my much larger pipette and stick that into the pipette tip, make sure there's a good seal, and then press down to push all the water into the bag. I'm going to be doing this several times to get all the nutrients in, and that could take a bit, so I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, all the nutrients are in, and that took an inordinately long amount of time. It took around 45 minutes, most of which will not be shown in the video, but that did take quite a long time. But it's all set for the algae to go in now. And you can see I've got my algae seeds set up that I made in my last video. Actually, I've got a whole tray of them right here. Oops. And they're all ready to go inside these hanging bags. So I'm just gonna start shaking them up using this pipette to put them inside the bags, and I'll show you when they're all done. There we have it, 10 fully functional, algae-filled, hanging bag photobioreactors. I'm so excited, these things look so cool. I'm so excited to see what happens over the course of the week as they're growing. It is a bit loud, and as you can see from outside, it's pretty dark, and that means it took a while to set up. But all in all, this is incredible. I'm so excited to see what happens in the next week. Now, the next step for this project, obviously, is to wait for these to grow and watch them grow and see what happens, so we can ultimately scale beyond just 10 bioreactors. But the other thing that I'm going to be focusing on is what I'm going to turn these algae into when they're done growing, and that is a low-cost fertilizer. So one thing I'm going to be figuring out is how to dry the algae, remove most of their water, and then see if I need to do anything additionally to turn into fertilizer that I can use for plants that are actually just outside this window. But that's all for now, so thanks for watching, and if you want to see more content like this as I continue to build out this project, make sure to follow on LinkedIn, subscribe on YouTube, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.